Now I have some good news. The way we access tuple elements is the same as the way we access list elements. So this video should be more of a refresher, so let's remind ourselves how we access elements. Firstly, we can use indexing. So we can use the index operator, which is square brackets, to access an item in a tuple. So here, I've created a tuple with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as separate elements. I then have a list element with the integers 6, 7, and 8, and then I have a tuple element with the numbers 9, 10, and 11. So if I wanted to access the number 5 in this tuple, I could put my underscore tuple, and I could follow this with a set of square brackets. Now to access number 5, I would need to put in index 4, seeing as indexing starts from 0. When I then run this code, we get 5 returned. Now if we count the number of elements in this tuple, we have 7 in total. 5 integers at the start, 1 list element, and 1 tuple element. So if I was to try to access my underscore tuple and provide an index which is out of range, i.e. if we try to access the element at index 7, you can see we run into an index error, telling us that the tuple index is out of range. So therefore, when you're trying to access an element, make sure that the index is in range, otherwise you'll run into an index error. Also remember that the index must be an integer, so we can't use floats or other types. So if we put my underscore tuple and inside square brackets we put 2.5, this will bring back a type error stating that the tuple indices must be integers or slices, not floating point numbers. Okay, so moving on. Can you remember what we'd need to put in order to access the number 10? We can use nested indexing. So here, the number 10 resides in the last element of the tuple, which in itself is a nested tuple. So if we type my underscore tuple and inside square brackets we put index 6, we return the full tuple, i.e. 9, 10, and 11. Now if I chain another indexing operation to this index operation and put square brackets 1, seeing as 10 is the second element within this tuple, you can see we obtain the number 10. So we're able to access nested structures inside of a tuple by using nested indexing, just like we would if we were accessing nested lists. Now, if you remember, we can also use negative indexing. So let's say we wanted to access the number 11. How do we go about doing this? Well, seeing as the nested tuple is the last element in our main tuple, we can put my underscore tuple and inside square brackets we could put -1. Now -1 refers to the last item and -2 would refer to the second last item, and so on. So if we now wanted to access number 11, we could chain an indexing operation where we once again put -1. So we take the last element in the main tuple and then we take the last element in the nested tuple. When we run the code, we bring back the number 11. Now if you also remember, we can slice lists by passing in a starting index and an ending index. So if we were to try to access the numbers 1, 2, and 3, we can have my underscore tuple, and inside square brackets we can put the starting element, which we know is index 0, and we can then put a colon. We then want to go up to the third element, so we'd place index 3, seeing as the third element is index 2, and we go up to, but not including, the end index. When we run this, we get the values 1, 2, and 3. Now inside this operation, if 0 is our first index, we can actually remove the reference to the starting value and simply put a colon. This will simply mean from the start of the sequence. And if we were to remove the end index value within the slicing operation, this will go up to the very end. So if we were to put my underscore tuple and inside square brackets, we simply put a colon. When we run this, we get all the elements from 1 all the way up to the last item in the tuple, which is that nested tuple. With slicing operations as well, we can use negative indexing. So if we wanted to go from the third item from the end all the way to the end, we could put my underscore tuple, and then inside square brackets, if we put -3, which we know would be the integer 5, and then we put a colon, this will grab the element 5, the list with 6, 7 and 8, and the tuple with 9, 10 and 11. So hopefully this was a bit of a refresher as to how we can use slicing and indexing on tuples. It takes the exact same form as lists, so it should be something you're comfortable with already.